Man, here we are. I made it. So-called January 14th, so-called birthday today, right? I'm grateful just to have made it, period. But I know I made it today to the so-called mark of the month of the day. So let's talk about something. That picture that they're going to see very briefly before they come into here is a picture of Emmett Till. And I wanted to talk about how, for all intents and purposes, any young black boy could have been like Emmett Till if things hadn't changed. You got to start telling yourself, I made it, because you did make it. From whatever generation you were born in, whether you are fairly older or fairly younger, tell yourself, I did make it. I made it. If you're here today and you get to watch this, tell yourself that I made it. This isn't a self centered message. This is for everybody. You did make it. And I'm glad that you made it. For this is a day that the Most High God has made. And you should rejoice and be happy. Because you, of all the beings who lived the day before who did not make it, he saw fit to say that you should make it. What's up, brother? We made it. That's right. And that's the mindset you gotta have. You gotta say, I made it today. That's right. I'm gonna be okay. Every day is gonna be a different battle and a different struggle. Some days you lose the battles, some days you win the struggles. But you have to be willing to know what each day is. I don't tell anyone how to live. I just encourage them to think a certain way because I can't tell them what to think. But I can tell them that this is what I think and this is how I come to these conclusions. And if you want to come to like conclusions, you have to gear your mind to this frame of thought. So to say that I made it is an affirmation, it's a positive affirmation. Continue to bless the living God, right? Because he says, you made it. That's right. Because he allowed you to make it. I have a gift for y'all. I'm continuing to put it together how it needs to be presented, but the very basis of it came from my brother Hassan Bunnell. And brother Hassan, man, he uh he uh he laced me with some real game. He said, yo, and I'm gonna give y'all the short story of the long story, and then we're gonna break the long story down with half decent visuals on a pre-recorded joint. But what he said was that the tree of life, or excuse me, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, is the Christmas tree. Is the tree that has, he said that it has a liken to, its likeness is to a fir tree. A fir tree is just like the pine tree or whatever that they use for that, um, and that the tree was beautiful to contemplate. He used from the book of the Genesis, and then he used a reference from the book of Enoch, talking about how when he went down to the middle of the earth, there was a certain tree. There were certain trees there, and he was breaking down how he believed that that tree was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And even if it's just a tree of life, whichever tree, because I'm going to investigate and figure out which tree it is talking about. I haven't looked back into it just yet. But when I say he he wrapped it up, put a bow on it, and when I unraveled it, I realized that I was like, I ain't never seen this kind of this. I say precious information, and it's deep. He broke down this winter solstice holiday. I can't think of the exact name, but it ends in Dio, right on. So I have to see what exactly it is. But they cut a tree stump, he says, out of a forest, and hit the they decorate it, and they're supposed to hit the stump, and it's supposed to give off presents. Anyway, it's believed that they took two different doctrines and merged them together and came up with this concept that they call Christmas, Christ Mass. However, we're not going to get too carried away in that, but I wanted to let everybody know that, since I made it, I had to tell y'all that that's game on game. When I say that's game on game, that's it's deep. It's explaining more about what we don't know about who we're dealing with, like why they want this so badly. Since I made it, I thought I would tell you this. Has it ever dawned on you that they want your salvation? Has it? See, they want their children that are from the loins of a non black man or, Afro man. They want those children from their own loins to become the progenitors greatly within our communities, to try to wipe us out some type of way. But what ends up happening more than not, because once again, you have to know your own genealogy before you can decide to play a culprit in that. But what they end up finding out more times than not is that their gene structure will automatically revert back to what it wants the most. So if you guys are ever wondering why certain dudes who are what they call light skins, but they're really biracial, because we all know light skinned black people with afro hair that have two brown parents and everything. And they look just like both their parents. They just came out light skinned because both these, both both these dudes' parents have parents who are both light skinned. You see what I'm saying? So it happens. But these cats want to erase us. They can't erase us because their progeny has a default mechanism built within them to go back and breed with those that they come from. So what ends up happening is a is an amalgamation that runs its course every 4 or 5 generations and then it burns out. So right now we're at the end of a burnout generation of all the so-called blood mixing because it's gotten them almost absolutely nowhere. The whole purpose and idea was so that way people would not talk about race. This is why they allowed. I need y'all to think about this. These are the numbers, okay? These are the numbers. 80% of interracial relationships from black men and black women are perpetrated by black men. Only 20% by black women. Let's get the numbers right. Even though black women outnumber black men greatly, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of brothers who are incarcerated. You see what I'm saying? So the numbers, I'm not gonna say are fake or conflated or nothing like that, but they're not as honest as it would seem. But still, though, the number of individuals that would willfully breed out are actually these brothers. This is a big point to this. The brothers are more likely to be the victims of the same race society. So no matter what, even if this brother marries out, he could still end up getting killed somewhere over nothing. Right. Now this white chick is talking about it's because he was a black man he was killed and this, that, and the other. And I've seen crazier things in my life. So it wouldn't be the first time that somebody who's not us speaks up for us and says, hey, I witnessed a travesty and it needs to be documented that this is what happened, this is what took place. And for all intents and purposes, it may be overlooked. Now, my point being this, these brothers are breeding out. They're supposed to be happy with that. They're not. Right on. A lot of them wish they had, full blown or what they think are full Afro children. It would make them feel better, more validated. Because the older you get, the more aware of your Afro-ness, whether your hair still grows or not, but it becomes a thing about you where you're like, you know what? This is what I want. I want a child that's just like me. I want one that looks just like me. Right on. But you have to have made it to get to this conclusion. You can't get to this conclusion by not making it. And this is why we need to encourage people to continue to live, because they need to realize wanting to be a part of your enemies is not going to be how you live. You can't live like that. It's impossible. Okay, they wanted me to work with this transgender thing. Couldn't do it. Like, I'm like, I can't work with this individual on the line. I'm like, they got to get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? There was a situation where they said some sideways shit, and then I said some real gangster shit to them, and they went and told on me to management, and then I told management what happened, and management was like, okay, we're taking this individual off the line. Don't worry about it. And that's exactly what happened. They're still in the building, but I might be about the building before it matters or it doesn't matter. And that's right. I can't coexist with that. This motherfucker away from me, man. Or this old weirdo ass dude who don't even realize you're willing to throw away thousands of years of survival because you're that selfish. They don't ever put it like that, but that's how that is. So that's just like with black people here who breed out on purpose, right? Like, I don't want no black children. I want all my children to be mixed. Okay, well, check this out. You can't be mad that black people still get treated like that. Oh, so we all should just tuck tail and run, huh? See, it's weirdos who are like that who still exist. 80% of them being males, 20%, and then you have 20% who are females, right? See what I'm saying? So it's just part of the thing. But yeah, look, y'all, we made it. Okay. Be blessed. Thank the Most High God that you made it. Be grateful to Him. Okay. And just realize that. But if you got everybody sleeping out, I'm going to do what I want to do. How can we get anywhere? We can't. You know what I'm saying? We can't. We can't win like that. Like, we can't. We can't have a bunch of cowards who are like, yo, and coward not being like they're so afraid that they won't fight back, but a coward like you'll breed out your whole bloodline. Right. So everybody who made it up until thus, forget about them. Right. Okay. Once again, how many guys in the NFL, NBA, some of them even MLB, but how many guys you fighting whatever, right? Who are biracial or biracial looking, right? And their wives are not black. Wow. Think about it. I mean, think about this for a minute. Think about how many brothers there are who wives are not black. Right. These guys are breeding themselves out. How can you wake up and say, I made it if you're doing that? You can't breed yourself out. You have to have people who look just like you. And you can't depend on the people who look just like you to continue to breed in so that way you can possibly bring your seed there and have them refined. Right. Because that's what people do. Black women do it all the time. They'll bring their mixed sons and their mixed daughters into the hood, right on, hoping that somebody there takes them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Right. This is deep. This is real deep. Best case scenario, the baby looks mixed because the father was mixed, but he got a black father. So people like, well, she'll get a pass. Right on. Right. That type of thing. I already know what's popping. These niggas don't know. But I do know what's up way more than I don't know. Let's say it like that. And it's just unfortunate that you have all these people who don't want to be honest. Like, it's like, yo, just keep it real. You know, keep it real. And I'm keeping it real right now. We can only say we made it if we keep the whole bloodline thing tight. But if you're going to breed out, you have to know that you have to get your children to breed back in. That's the once again, it's a you have to. If there's no strategic move at play and you're just lusting after this female, well, what are you doing? Because you're putting all of us at risk when you do that. You see what I'm saying? It's not just you who has to worry about that. It's all of us. So, you know, without being crazy or nothing like that, we have to just see it for what it is. And there's too many people who just they don't want to see it, man. They don't want to say, okay, he's right. You know what I mean? Like I can't want it both ways. So if I have a child who's like this, I have to bring them and I have to not beg the people, but I have to be like, yo, look, you know what I'm saying? Take care of me. That's the only way. Because otherwise than that, they're gonna be gears to breeding out. Right. Everybody's black now. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? That's not how it works. I mean, you guys got to realize like there's certain groups that are who are allowed to exclusively only breed with themselves and have built up large populations of individuals who look just like themselves while they try to sequester and annihilate and genocide black people. You know, like I said, this is not a self-centered message. It's not against anybody, right on. This is just to reach out and point to the facts that, like my son, his mother's mixed. I'm not afraid to tell people that, my little like my little quarter breed, white thing, you know what I mean? That he is, but he's still a nigga to me. Or he looks like a little nigga to me. He just looks like, yeah, he's a little light bright, but he he's more brown yellow than he is just high yellow. So, he got a little color to him, but still, I know what's up. I'm not trying to deceive nobody. Or but he's still a little half breed dude, quarter breed dude or whatever. That's part of life. That's life. So that's my son though. And that's like but I know better. You see what I'm saying? That's why I can say I made it because now I know that all my children need to look just like I don't have any other children. Or you know what I'm saying? And I've exclusively made it to where I've only been talking to black females. Like, like other chicks will try to holler at me. And I'll make sure I put them down easy. I just let them know I'm just not messing with you like that. You know, you can talk to me, but you can't do nothing. You know what I mean? That's just where it's at. Like you got to represent for yourself. Don't nobody want you to have things except for you. You know, like I said, my son is his mom is mixed, even if her father's black, whatever. They can. Oh, she's black too. That's not how it works. Or it's just not how it works like that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, at least honor the fact that this individual look different than she does. You know what I mean? Like, and that the person that so-called person that she was birthed out of looks nothing like the individual that laid down with her. So, can we at least be honest on that level? And it's like people need to stop lying to themselves. You know, they need to stop being so fake and really, really, really just keep it real. Keep it real with yourself. You know, say, okay, I have to make sure that my child is around people who are more like me. If the person, I can't I can't break this down enough. They want us all to think that everybody else is better than us. I work with so many different females who they all think because I'm a nigga and that they're not, that I'm just chomping at the bits to just get at them. And it's like, ain't that about a bitch? But that's the reputation that some niggas done gave niggas. So it's okay. People like, you ain't no nigga, you a brother. Man, look, man, sit your dual white man ass the fuck down somewhere, okay? Because I'm trying to make a point here that The white man that they be blaming is the same one, okay, that they're allowing to come to these parties, right? To smash black chicks, okay, to leave their little bastard babies everywhere. And don't nobody say nothing to these motherfuckers. Nobody at all. And until all those dudes are G-checked, the hardest way. See, once again, don't nobody want to talk about it. Don't nobody really want to talk about it because you're not going into Mexico. You're not going into the Philippines. You're not going to China. You're not doing none of that, going over there and smashing all the chicks and just ain't nobody going to say nothing to you. Ain't nobody going to confront you. They're leaving little bastards everywhere. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Earth does not operate like that, suffice it to say. And people need to understand that. And they need to start to realize that the only way you're going to be able to say, I made it, is if you can say, okay, I made it because of who? I made it because I look like this right now. Right. That's why I made it. Right. Because I'm still a nigga. So I won't do my seed a disservice of the service that was done for me. Can y'all hear what I'm saying? Do you hear the levels of I'm not pleading, but I'm it's an honorable request, you know what I'm saying, for the sake of your own pity and my own pity, right? That we find agreements on a small matter within the matter, which is that we must continue to look the way that we look. This is what they hate, so we must continue to be just that. I made it in spite of the fact that they hate the fact that I look like this. They hate me. They hate me. They do. Y'all don't know, but they can't stand my ass. That's how it's supposed to be, though. You're supposed to rep for your people and not be afraid of being who you are. Because they don't want you to be nobody. They want you to be a sucker. Right. Don't nobody want to hear that. They get scared and got to, you know, you know what I mean? That's what people do in real life. When it gets real, they ski skirt up out of there because that's the only thing they know to do. But that's okay though, because I know for a fact that the things that I say don't change. Did I go into who looks a certain way, who gives in the most to the enemies? No, because I've already talked about those things in the past. But I'll tell you this much though. My father has several living brothers and sisters. My my uncle Abraham, who's the oldest, he's like 75, right? Uh, then there's my aunt Maggie, my aunt Martha, my uncle Clyde, my aunt Annie, and I think that's it on my father's side, right? And Martha, Annie, and Lindsley, my father, are all like light skinned, right? Because of their father. Clyde is brown. I think I'm pretty sure he has the same father as my brother. I mean, not as my brother, but as my father, his brother. But I know Abraham, the eldest, has a different father, right? And he's dark skinned. You see what I'm saying? So my father grew up in a household where he's seen all the different shades of black people. It was normal to him. I'm trying to break this down to y'all. Like in my family, I seen all kinds of black people, dark skin, light skin, whatever. Right? I'm talking about niggas who grow afros though. So you guys got to understand what I'm talking about and really get it. Even though they look different, they look the same. You feel me? So there's a level of understanding about what I'm talking about. Like these people, you need to have understood that they made it because somebody kept the honor of this is who we're going to go be with. We're not just going to sell out and just give up who we are. Right. Because everything that you have to offer to your people, when you give it to another group, they take those skills and then they're enlarged. Right. Patrick Mahomes didn't bring his skills back to the black community. He got married to a white chick. I just need y'all to understand this. Word. Like, right. For all the shit that people want to say about the dude, what did he do? He got a little white chick. So guess where all his money gonna go? That's right, back to them white folks when it's all said and done. That's how crazy it is. Right. So let life go all the way through. All his money still go back to white folk. It don't matter. So all the fighting that black people did, damn that. You see what I'm saying? You have to have better sense than that. If you're really in a situation where they're trying to breed you out every way possible, they want men to be homosexuals. They want women to be homosexuals. I'm talking about black people. I'm talking about Afro people and anybody who considers Afro and people who are black incorporated. Okay, I'm not going to get carried away with the definition, but we all know that everybody don't grow an Afro. Having said that, boom. But some of them are, for all intents and purposes, black people. So having said that, before I get up out of here in the next couple minutes and I break this down, you have a group of people who don't realize that they're doing everything to get you up out of here through the homosexual act, which no children are robbed when gay people, whatever they're supposed to be, when those abominations are doing whatever they do. You get what I'm saying? So there's no there's no there's nobody that's it. That's the, you know what I'm saying? Right on, brother. Right on. I'll see you later, bro. You take it easy and be safe out there, bro. Love you, brother. Peace. But yeah, family, I gotta let all y'all know before I got to get ready to run in a couple seconds. But check this out. You have that angle of them trying to make it to where you're gonna breed yourself out by not breeding successfully. So, boom, you're no longer a threat. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And then they're gonna have the other group of individuals. This is deep now, y'all. This is how they really get black people. Now you got the other group who, like I said, 80% of them being the males, 20% being the females, are gonna breed out. How many of those children are gonna come back to being with Afro people, right? Or people who were considered black? God only knows. Boom. So that's another hit. Okay. Now let's talk about this other part where vi- violence, vice, uh, and then false imprisonment, right? So if there's over 1 million brothers, 2 million, however many brothers is really locked up, you know what I'm saying? Because who really knows that number? I don't. But the millions of brothers that are put away right now, let's say 25% of them are actually innocent in what they said that they're saying they're innocent. Let's say 75% of them are actually guilty. Follow this right here. That means that a quarter of the population of the black people who are locked up right now shouldn't even be there. So all their skills, everything, once again, our ability to be able to fend off uh, the so-called dominant society waned throughout the years because all the individuals with the skilled labor, once they died, their children didn't get. You had guys who were learning how to become a skilled artisan. Some of them have actually achieved that in prison, but you'll never know. And what happened is that their time of being free was cut short unrighteously. Like some of the individuals who are in prison are there because they put themselves there, but there's other individuals who are in prison who didn't do anything, and they when they say they're innocent, they're innocent. You have to understand this. That hurt black people. The imprisonment rate hurts black people, black men in particular, because we're underrepresented in every category because of how many black people are locked up. Think about it. Lock up another group of individuals like that and then see what it does to their stats. How many people are going to graduate? How many people are going to have so-called teenage pregnancy? How many individuals are going to be, hooked to drugs at a young age? Blase, 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 blase. So when the list goes on, everything that goes against us is so great. And then let's just talk about this last little part before I cut it out. The one thing that they try to get you to give up on is the God that wants you to succeed. That's their biggest plan. Is they want you to be godless. They say if he's godless or she's godless, they won. You can't win like that. How can you say I made it if you don't have a God to believe in? Think about that. How can you say I made it if you don't have a God to believe in? What good is your life if there is no living God? What good is life? What I want y'all to think about what I'm saying. What what what's the end game then? Right. That these crooked, wicked bastards are just in control and they're going to drive the whole entire earth into the ground. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that. I believe that what I have seen in lucid dreams will one day come and manifest itself upon the earth because more and more and more these things happen. And I believe that when they do happen, it's going to be a blessing because the things that I think about in my dreams are things that I read about. And it's a blessing to have read them to understand that this is what it's going to be. I'd rather believe than not believe. You don't just go to hell for not believing. There's different degrees of punishment. And if you don't get yours here on the earth, you will get it in the after. Brothers and sisters, I want y'all to understand. The next time you say, I made it, the first thing that needs to come to your mind is, thank you, God of glory, the most high, righteous king of everything, creator of heaven and earth. With that said, I salute you. I salute you again. I salute you one more time. It has been an honor to render to you, just to speak to you for a very short period, but a very meaningful period. May tomorrow be better than today, and may your next week be better than your last.